Hey guys, we are talking about Watten House performance on their preview over the weekend. It started on Friday. I think it was like the VVIP or something like that. And already this one is a preview. This is not the supposedly according to them. This is not the actual launch. This is like a private kind of launch before they launch again in I think January next year, sometime not long next year, then they brand it the public one lah. But apparently now they already sold for like more than half, 57%. Let's take a look at this, man. This is yet another incredible one. I actually initially they were supposed to launch at the same time with Jaden, and I think they delayed back. Probably it was a good move. When I saw them delaying, then I kind of thought they probably very very likely wanted to look at the performance of Jaden before they decide how much to price, right? And true enough, Jaden played too well to their advantage. So I really say kudos to the UOL guys. They really planned it very very well. Jaden did much better than expected, and as a result, they price it accordingly. They shift their prices accordingly, and hence, even then at this kind of price point, people are accepting it like like go and buy vegetable, man. Wow, 57 soap for this is not even a typical OCR product. This is like a luxury. I wouldn't say really the highest tier, but definitely more towards the higher end kind of tier, kind of condo. But still, way exceeding expectation. I myself didn't. I probably was thinking more of like a 30 something percent, but this is like twice of it, because initially we think that this kind of product is rather niche. It's not like perfect niche, but it's rather niche. How many people can actually afford this kind of product in Singapore, right? But apparently people chiong like it's not like nobody business. The launch, the preview itself, it was over flooded. So let's see, take a look. More than half of the 180 units being snapped up, even though a lot of people were thinking, hey, dampen demand because of the recent money laundering, and there were a lot of speculations that the market may have cooled down because of the clamping on the AML kind of things. In fact, quite a lot of my clients, when they ask me about my market sentiment, of course, I'm not all super bullish. I'm still cautious, but I would say I'm more of a cautious optimist regarding the market, because I don't look at it from a short-term view. A lot of people, they look at properties as a short-term. Hey, is it going to crash within 1-2 years? I don't think that should be our concern, because in the first place, 1-2 years you're not able to sell unless you're willing to swallow and then chop and then speed up the seller stamp duty within the first 3 years, which is definitely not within my strategy, and I really don't recommend my client to be doing that. But there are quite a lot of people actually, I would say, end up being more bullish than I expected. That's why you are seeing this kind of article today, especially after Jaden last week. We reviewed that. Then this one came along. Average price of 3.2. 3.2, come on, man. The break-even price is like 2,600 plus. And this is 600 plus PSF profit. It's a lot. It's like 20%. And this is average. But people are treating it like it's it's perfectly reasonable or Watten. By the way, this I used to market I used to sell one of the previous house, what do you call it, Watten Estate condominium. I remember that was like 2021. There were a lot of people coming in for the interest of en bloc. The thing about en bloc is you never know whether it's going to go through. So if people who buy, it goes through successfully, congratulations to you. You still have to pay sales stamp duty, by the way. But if it doesn't, then there's the hype goes down. Then you are likely going to be, because you enter at a high, because the owners are selling you on the en bloc hopes, right? And when it comes down, because the en bloc doesn't go through, then you're going to be incurring quite a lot of cost, because most of the time these buildings are very 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 old. The rental is not going to be high. So I remember that time, going in, driving in all the way, I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is really quite a distance to MRT. Then again, in this kind of location, a lot of people, they don't actually walk to MRT lah. They have their own transport. Maybe they got their own mart. They got several cars. They got all kinds of things. Some of them even if they have to walk, they walk. Some of them even bike. So realize that the higher tier the demographic, the less they care about MRT. That's why you have this one day. Is definitely, I don't think you're gonna walk for sure, especially in the hot noon sun. You're definitely not gonna walk to MRT from this development, and people are still buying. Okay, so all those things about convenience to MRT, convenience to the shopping mall here and there. Here got absolutely nothing. Please correct me if I'm not wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see anything here. There's only a small playground at the side. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just not that familiar with that area. Please enlighten me. But yeah, this is definitely not a place of convenience at all. Okay, and out of the 8 penthouses, there were 3 being sold between 11.7 to 14.5 million. And I remember there was I had one client that come to me, hey, Waterhouse, how much are you gonna sell? Then I said, we can only speculate lah. Nobody knows for sure lah. And then he was coming to me like $10 million budget. Then I'm thinking, why do we come over here $10 million budget? And he was looking at a penthouse. So I think definitely we didn't. I didn't really believe in it. Unfortunately, I mean, why would we want to buy this for $10 million? But some people just got different ideas, lor. But anyway, we did go through. I wouldn't have the kind of conviction to sell in this. But this is even beyond his initial expected budget. Not that he doesn't have the budget, but this is like, wow. 11.7, and this is probably the smaller one because the bigger one is at 14.5 million, 3,500 plus BSF. Okay, this is wow. This is way. I expected like 10 to 12 million at the start, but this is 14.5 million, way over the expected. 96% are Singaporeans and PRs, mostly buying for old occupancy. Nobody knows lah. Okay, that's what they say. Nobody knows. Concerns about April cooling measure at a higher quantum, whether people are able to afford. Apparently, this is not the case. And let's just face it, how many people in Singapore? Those who are really rich, they are not going to be on the keyboards complaining about, cost of living is going to be expensive here and there. These guys are quietly buying our property. These guys are not affected by our quality of living. They can have multiple branded high-end cars, and they do not care about whether your cai fan or ji fan goes up to $5, $10, $15, because to them it's chump change. So I don't think this is likely going to be a problem for them. As long as they like it, they'll still buy it. $3 million for the smallest 3-bedder is not super ridiculous. It's still on the higher side, I agree. But I don't think this is super ridiculous because there are some like reserve residences, the bigger 3-bedders are already selling more than 3 mil. So this is comparable, and this is even better, right? I mean, not everything is about size lah. Okay. But the 4-bedders are well over 5 million. 5-bedders are priced for 7.4 million onwards. This is really totally another different price point. What can you get for 7.4 million? In Singapore, I think we have a lot of options. So there are limited supply. This one I really think so. I would say I agree to a certain extent. There are not many comparable projects. They are of like something like Watten House for sure. But this is not a really useful statement that I would say. I wouldn't really look at all this kind of thing. The other one, totally different product, would be Orchard Sophia, which people are still buying like nuts. People are buying. Let's leave it for another one. I don't really think that's a good product either. There are a few others that are coming up. Freeholds, former Mayor Park, Euro Asia Apartments, Gloria Mansion, LaVille, and all these will be riding on the wave of whatever happened over Jayden and also Watten House. And out of the 140 of them in Watten House, 140 of them out of 180, above 1,500 square feet, a large format house. Not many people can afford this, not let alone this kind of PSF. So I hope you're getting what I'm saying. It's like a totally different price point. A lot of people, I later had another client asking me just two weeks back or 3 weeks back, they're saying if I enter a 3-4 bedroom at probably a 4 bedroom at $3+ million, what would be the Okay, $3+ million, right? What would be the target audience? Will there be people who are willing to buy or able to buy? Well, now this solves the question already. Okay, I don't think we need to elaborate more. You can say for legacy purpose lah, but there will be people who will be selling after like 3 years or less, or maybe 3 to 5 years. There will definitely be resale units out there. So they are definitely not for legacy purpose for sure. This is what they speculate. And all these are pretty generous statement. I wouldn't probably be looking at it. Healthy take up at Jaden, yeah, like what I mentioned, this one is definitely a very, very good indication for Watten House sentiment before they launch. Why? Because ample liquidity to be deployed. When people really want to buy a house, they will liquidate something on. And they really want to buy something, or if something just makes sense to them, whether it has to be from a financial point of view, investment point of view, or just an emotional point of view, when they really want it, they will have the money. Especially now, you have TDSR, we have so many cooling measures, a lot of people are actually saving money secretly. Of course, you still have that bunch of people who are still spending a lot of money, and probably they won't be looking at this, but there are still quite a chunk of our population still saving quite a bit. These two recently just over the past this 1 month alone. So we are going to see the newspaper report, or the sales, new sales project, new sales is going to be a new high because of the or rather how many percent above October. You see now I'm showing you the crystal ball to the next headline. And yeah, you should know what I mean. Basically, don't take all the headlines as at face level. Know what it actually means, and what actually is it very important what all these headlines mean. This will give developers some confidence to launch their projects in 2024. I think this is the unfortunate part for people who are sitting on the fence. They're waiting on, next year is going to be not so good year, it's going to be high supply year, or so many projects, blah, 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 the typical same thing. Come on, this thing has been around for how long since COVID period? So COVID period, people are mentioning, there's high supply. 2021, people are saying, there's going to be, the prices are going to come down because it's so expensive already. It didn't come down. 2020 didn't come down. 2022 didn't come down because, the supply actually dropped. And developers are more optimistic, even though, yes, they are cautious, but they are optimistic because they also know that the overall supply chain is on their side. Of course, there are some developers that are squeezed because of ABSD deadline, but that's still a more smaller minority. Then, this year, we are seeing the same thing again. People are waiting for how long will we wait? I mean, we are not expecting a big crash for sure. We are not expecting prices to run that fast for sure. But if you're expecting prices to be low, I really don't think it's going to happen. Because you need to remember the fundamentals of all this that is happening. Do developers have time to wait out the market? I think especially those like Watten House, they only have 180 units to sell. Come on. They already kept 57%. How many more do they need to clear within the next 3 years? They took a very, very long time to launch. They got the land in 2021. We'll talk a little bit more about this. But what you need to know is that this is going to cause a lot of, or rather already causing quite a lot of movement in other developments. A lot of other developments started moving. A lot of them started moving prices as well. So, if you are still looking around and already nearing the decision stage, you need to know what are you actually buying, what are you really buying, and then what are the chances of it going your way that you are looking at it. True enough, if some people who are looking just to buy, you don't really care about whatever, then just buy lah. If you are looking to make money, then you have to be very, very, very careful. And this, the longer you sit, the more all this will get fly off the shelf lah. You need to know that a lot of you, or rather large majority of you, do not have access to market data, instant real-time market data. You do not know the units are literally like this, like our screens are showing like this. This unit so every single day. You don't feel the market movement because you don't see reported in the news every single day. That's why you think that the market is slowing down. But when we have real-time updates, you see all these units moving, you realize that it is maybe not as what the average crowd would think it is. Okay, so this was sold on 27 October, almost 2 years after it was sold. Then they launched. They dragged it for very long. I think they were smart they planned it in such a way that they were waiting for the market to come into their favor, and this strategy worked true enough to their favor. Break even was like what I mentioned, 2,600 plus. They sold at 3,200 plus, 600 plus profit margin. This is an awesome profit margin for UOL. Okay, but of course you also need to understand the more the margin they make, the lesser your potential profit margin. There's something to be a little bit more concerned about. Then we pull out a little bit. Of course, I need to show a little bit of disclaimer. All these may or may not be the comparable now to what Watten House is, but it was pretty much the same as how the previous Watten House is. And over time, as things age, it may or may not become the same. So Duchess residence is still quite in the region, not exactly very, very, very close by, but it's still a 999. Well, it's been going sideways, and then this one has been going sideways for the longest time before it suddenly jerked up. Probably likely thanks to who else? Mr. Watten Hill. Okay, it's basically Watten Estate lah. Then you have this one that is Adam Park, also ding dong here and there until here. You see, during around the same period of time, all these few developments, then they started moving because of the recent sales, of course. I mean, people can say all kinds of things lah, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Your a lot of, you can say, transformation or whatever. There's only one thing that moves property prices directly, and it's definitely not related to transformation. So don't get bought in by all this kind of sales talk lah. Okay, so whether Watten is gonna be the next thing, whether it's gonna be like this is a big question mark. I would say it's more of what kind of buyers are you gonna be attracting if you buy into such a development. Okay, are you trying to be fishing for a particular product? Because like I said, this is a very, very niche product. You cannot just anyhow cast your net out like this one, where you have a much larger audience, much larger buyer pool. Example like your OCR, RCR kind of typical kind of products. Then you have more households being able to afford, and then hence it's easier to catch buyers. You have more viewers fighting and then pushing out a price. But if it's something that is very niche, even viewers, they don't really have a lot. Even if you have a lot, then just come and see, come and go. They may not even be able to afford. They just want to see for show, and your house becomes a show flat. Things like that. It's not easy to sell that kind of house. Which one do you want when it comes to investment? Okay, of course, I've seen a fair share of such a development make money. I've also seen such a fair share of development that loses a lot of money. And with these developments, when they lose money, they don't just lose like 5 figures. They lose either 6 figures, 7 figures kind of things. Whereas if you stick with the tested and proven kind, usually you may even have one entire development that doesn't have a single soul that actually lost money on paper. But you have the other side that is because of the very, very limited fish, the kind of shark that you are fishing for one by one, it may be a lot harder to catch the kind of buyers that you want. Okay, this is an example. So, but then again, the kind of people that buys this kind of product, they can afford to lose the money. To them, it's like, oh wow, 1.7 mil. Wow, that's painful. But anyway, let's talk about the news. Yeah, to them it doesn't hurt them that much. But if you are the kind that if 1.7 loss is gonna hurt you a lot, then you may want to be a lot more cautious when it comes to buying. Like I said, if you are not too affected, then in the first place, I don't think you even should be looking at this video. If you're looking at this video, you're probably a lot more concerned, a lot more wary, and hence you should do more of a due diligence. On the other hand, if you are able to buy this kind, you just want to buy whatever you like. If you like it, you just buy it simply because your earning power is way higher. You can afford all these. It doesn't affect you. If it makes money, good for you. If it doesn't make money, then that's it. That's just the way it is. Okay, if you need any help, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and then PM me if needed. That will be all we have for today for Watten House, and see you guys. Bye bye.